Jake Morrison wiped the grease from his hands and looked at the old ship in front of him. The metal was covered in rust and oil stains. He had been working on it for 3 hours and his back hurt. The shop was quiet except for the sound of wind outside. It was past midnight and he should have gone home hours ago. He threw the dirty rag on his workbench and reached for his coffee. It was cold now, but he drank it anyway. The repair shop was small, just big enough for 2 ships and his tools. Jake liked it that way. Small meant simple. Simple meant safe. 20 years ago, Jake had been a soldier. He fought in the war against the aliens. The memories still kept him awake at night. He remembered the screams, the burning ships, the friends who never came home. After the war ended, Jake left the military. He moved to the edge of New Seattle and opened this shop. He fixed ships for miners and traders. He kept his head down. He tried to forget. The night was cold and clear. Through the open bay door, Jake could see the stars. There were millions of them out there. He used to dream about exploring space, seeing new worlds, meeting other species. That was before the war. Before he learned that the universe was not kind to dreamers. A bright light suddenly filled the sky. Jake looked up and saw something falling. It was burning as it came down, leaving a trail of fire behind it. The object was moving fast, too fast. Jake's soldier instincts kicked in. He recognized the shape. It was a ship and it was going to crash. The ship hit the ground about half a mile from his shop. The impact shook the building. Tools fell from the walls. The coffee mug shattered on the floor. Jake grabbed his emergency kit and ran outside. He did not think about it. His body just moved. The crash site was easy to find. Smoke rose into the night sky. The ship had carved a deep trench in the rocky ground. It was smaller than Jake expected, maybe the size of a transport shuttle. But the design was strange. The metal was smooth and silver, with patterns that seemed to glow in the dark. Jake's heart stopped. He knew that design. It was Asheran. The Asherans were aliens who stayed neutral during the war. They did not help humans, but they did not fight them either. What was an Asheran ship doing here? And why was it damaged? The ship's side door opened with a hiss. Smoke poured out. Jake took a step back and reached for the weapon in his kit. He had not carried a gun in 15 years, but tonight he was glad he kept one. A figure stepped out of the smoke. It was tall and slender, with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer. The alien wore dark robes that were torn and burned. Jake could see blood on the fabric. The alien stumbled and fell to one knee. Jake kept his distance but did not raise his weapon. The alien looked up at him. Her face was different from a human's, with large eyes that were completely black. But Jake could read the expression. It was pain and desperation. "Human," the alien said. Her voice was soft but clear. She spoke English with a strange accent. "You are Jake Morrison, are you not?" Jake froze. How did this alien know his name? He had left his military life behind. He was nobody now, just a mechanic in a forgotten corner of Earth. "Who are you?" Jake asked. His hand stayed near his weapon. The alien tried to stand but fell again. Jake saw more blood now. She was badly hurt. Despite his fear, he moved closer. Years of military training told him to be careful. But something else, something deeper, told him this alien needed help. "My name is Vela," the alien said. She breathed hard, each word an effort. "I am Queen of the Asheran Commonwealth. My father was King Theron. Human, my father always spoke of you?" Jake's mind went blank. A queen? King Theron? He had never heard those names before. He had never met any Asheran royalty. This had to be a mistake. "I don't know your father," Jake said. "I've never met any Asheran kings. You have the wrong person." Vela reached into her robes with a shaking hand. She pulled out a small device that glowed with blue light. She pressed it and a picture appeared in the air. It showed a younger alien male standing next to a human in military uniform. The human was smiling. The alien had his hand on the human's shoulder. Jake stared at the picture. He knew that uniform. He knew that face. It was his own face, 23 years younger. But he did not remember this moment. He did not remember this alien. 23 years ago, Vela said, "You saved my father's life. He was traveling in secret, studying your people before the war. His ship was attacked. You found him. You could have killed him or turned him in. Instead, you helped him escape. You gave him hope that humans and Asherans could be friends." Memories started coming back to Jake, bits and pieces. A classified mission, a damaged alien ship, an alien scientist who said he wanted peace. Jake had been ordered to capture any aliens he found. But something about that alien had been different. He seemed scared, not dangerous. So Jake had helped him. He never reported it. He never told anyone, I remember. Jake whispered. He said his name was Theron. He was a scientist. He never said he was royalty. He could not tell you the truth, Vela said. It was too dangerous. But he never forgot what you did. He spent the rest of his life working for peace between our people. He wrote about you in his journals. He called you the human who showed him what honor meant. Jake did not know what to say. That moment had been so small, so unimportant. He had helped one alien escape. That was all. How could that have mattered so much? Vela coughed, and more blood appeared on her lips. She was dying. Jake made his decision. He put away his weapon and moved to her side. We need to get you to a hospital, Jake said. No, Vela said firmly. There are those who want me dead. They are coming. We cannot go to your hospitals. They will find me there. Then what do you want me to do? Jake asked. My father trusted you with his life, Vela said. Now I must do the same. There are people in my government who want war with humans. They killed my father. Now they hunt me. I have proof of their plans, but I must reach a safe place to reveal it. Will you help me, Jake Morrison? Will you honor the friendship my father cherished? Jake looked at the dying alien queen. He thought about his quiet life, his safe shop, his peaceful nights. Helping her would destroy all of that. The assassins would come. He would be in danger again. He would have to fight again. But he also thought about King Theron, about an alien who believed in peace, about a small act of kindness that somehow mattered. Where do we need to go? Jake asked. Vela smiled. It was a weak smile, but it was real. Thank you, human. My father was right about you. Then the sky lit up again. 3 ships appeared above them. They were dark and fast, moving like hunters. Jake recognized military designs. These were not rescue ships. These were killers. They found me, Vela whispered. Jake picked her up. She was lighter than he expected. He ran toward his shop, his old legs moving faster than they had in years. The assassin ships fired. Energy beams hit the ground behind them. Explosions threw dirt and rocks into the air. Jake reached his shop and hit the emergency button. The bay doors slammed shut. The building's old defense shields activated. They would not hold for long, but they might buy some time. He laid Vela on his workbench and grabbed his medical kit. His hand shook as he worked on her wounds. He had not treated alien injuries before, but blood was blood. He could slow the bleeding at least. My ship has medical supplies, Vela said, but we cannot reach it now. We don't need your ship, Jake said. He pointed to the vessel he had been repairing. We'll take mine. That old thing can fly? Vela asked. It better, Jake said. Because those assassins won't wait for us to find out. He finished bandaging her wounds and helped her to the ship. Outside, he could hear the assassins landing. They would break through his shield soon. Jake ran to his computer and activated old military codes he swore he would never use again. Hidden weapons emerged from the shop's walls. Automated turrets, missile launchers, tools from his soldier days. Jake strapped Vela into the ship's passenger seat and jumped into the pilot's chair. His hands moved over the controls with practiced ease. The engine roared to life. He had been a good pilot once. He hoped he still remembered how. The shop's roof opened. The assassins broke through the door just as Jake launched the ship into the sky. Energy beams chased them. One hit the ship's rear shield. Alarms screamed. Jake pushed the throttle forward. The ship climbed higher and faster. Can this vessel reach orbit? Vela asked. We're about to find out, Jake said. He had helped an alien queen. He had made himself a target. His peaceful life was over. But as he flew through the night sky with assassins behind him, Jake felt something he had not felt in 20 years. He felt alive. The ship shook as another energy blast hit the shields. Jake gripped the controls tighter and turned hard to the right. The old cargo ship groaned but obeyed. Behind them, 3 assassin ships followed like angry wasps. Your shields are failing, Vela said from the passenger seat. Her voice was weak but steady. I know, Jake said. He pushed the ship faster. They were almost out of the atmosphere now. The sky was turning from blue to black. Stars appeared ahead of them. They will destroy us before we reach space, Vela said. Not if I can help it, Jake said. He had named this ship the Wanderer 15 years ago when he bought it from a scrapper. It was old and slow and nobody wanted it. Perfect for a man who wanted to disappear. But Jake had made some changes over the years. He had installed better engines, stronger shields, a few weapons he never thought he would need. Jake pressed a red button on the control panel. 2 missiles launched from the ship's belly. They were old military models, the kind soldiers used during the war. The missiles curved back toward the assassin ships. 2 of them broke away to dodge. The third was not fast enough. The missile hit it straight on. The explosion lit up the night like a small sun. 2 left, Jake said. The remaining assassin ships became more careful. They stopped shooting and just followed. Jake knew why. They wanted to see where he would go. Then they would call for help and bring more ships to kill him and Vela. We need to lose them, Vela said. Working on it, Jake said. They broke through the atmosphere and into open space. Earth hung below them like a blue and white jewel. Jake had not been in space for 10 years. He had forgotten how beautiful it was. How silent, how dangerous. Jake turned the ship toward the asteroid belt that circled between Earth and Mars. It was a dangerous place full of floating rocks and old mining stations. Most pilots avoided it. But Jake knew it well. He had hidden there during the war when enemy ships were hunting him. You are going into the belt? Vela asked. That is suicide. Trust me, Jake said. The ship entered the asteroid field. Rocks the size of houses floated everywhere. Some moved slowly. Others spun fast enough to smash anything in their path. Jake flew between them with steady hands. He remembered how to do this. His body remembered even if his mind had tried to forget. The assassin ships followed, but they were slower now. They had to dodge the rocks too. Jake used that. He flew close to a large asteroid and cut his engines. The ship drifted behind the rock, hidden from view. He held his breath and waited. The 2 assassin ships flew past. They were searching but could not find him. Jake waited until they were far ahead. Then he fired the engines again and flew in the opposite direction. Clever, Vela said. She sounded impressed. I've done this before, Jake said. They flew for another hour before Jake was sure they had lost the assassins. He set the ship on automatic pilot and turned to look at Vela. She was pale and sweating. The bandages on her wounds were soaked with blood. You need real medical care, Jake said. I will survive, Vela said, but her eyes were closing. She was exhausted. Jake found a blanket and covered her. She fell asleep immediately. He sat back in his pilot chair and stared at the stars. His mind was racing. Everything had changed in just a few hours. He was a wanted man now. The assassins would not stop hunting. They would search every ship, every station, every planet until they found him. And what about Vela's story? Could it be true? Had that small act of kindness 23 years ago really mattered so much? Jake pulled up the ship's computer and searched for information about King Theron. The files were public record. Theron had ruled the Asheron Commonwealth for 35 years. He was known as a peaceful king who worked to improve relations with other species. He died 6 months ago. The official cause was illness. But Vela said he was murdered. Jake looked at the sleeping alien queen. She was young, maybe the same age Jake had been during the war. She carried a heavy burden now. Her father was dead. Her own people wanted to kill her. She had nowhere to go except to trust a human she barely knew. Jake activated a hidden file on his computer. It was his military record, sealed and classified. He had not looked at it in 15 years. He scrolled through missions and battles until he found what he was looking for. Mission date, January 15, 2164. Location, classified. Status incomplete. The mission report was short. Jake had been sent to investigate an unknown signal near Jupiter. He found a damaged alien ship, but the rest of the report was blank. Jake had never filed it. He had deleted everything and pretended the mission never happened. But now he remembered. He remembered finding the ship. He remembered the alien inside, scared and hurt. The alien said he was a scientist studying Earth. He said he wanted peace, but his government wanted war. He begged Jake not to kill him. Jake should have followed orders. He should have captured the alien or destroyed the ship. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the look in the alien's eyes. Maybe it was the way he talked about peace like it was something real and possible. Whatever it was, Jake made a choice. He helped the alien repair his ship. He gave him supplies and coordinates to escape. Then he flew away and never told anyone. That alien was King Theron, and that choice changed everything. Jake heard a sound behind him. Vela was awake. She was sitting up, looking at him with those large black eyes. You remember now, she said. It was not a question. Yes, Jake said. I remember your father. He was a good person. I did not know he was a king. He could not tell you, Vela said. He was traveling in secret, against the wishes of our military leaders. They wanted war with humanity. They believed your species was dangerous and should be destroyed before you became too powerful. But my father wanted to see the truth for himself. And what did he see? Jake asked. He saw you, Vela said simply. A human soldier who chose mercy over duty, who risked everything to help an enemy. That changed him. When he returned home, he fought against the war. He lost many battles in our government. The war happened anyway, but after the war ended, he made sure peace lasted. He created treaties and trade agreements. He built bridges between our peoples. I did not know, Jake said. He felt strange. That moment had seemed so small to him. Just one choice on one day. But it had rippled outward like waves on water. My father kept your secret, Vela said. He never told anyone about meeting you? It would have been dangerous for both of you, but he wrote about it in his private journals. He wrote about the human who taught him that honor exists in all species. Vela reached into her robes again. This time she pulled out a small book. It was old and worn. The cover was made of some kind of leather Jake did not recognize. This is his journal, Vela said. She held it out to Jake. He wanted you to have it. If anything happened to him, I was supposed to find you and give you this. Jake took the book with shaking hands. He opened it to a random page. The writing was in Asheran, a language of curved lines and dots. But there was a picture on the page. It showed Jake's face drawn from memory. Next to it were words Jake could not read. What does it say? Jake asked. Vela read aloud. Today I met a human who showed me that we are not so different. He chose compassion when violence would have been easier. He asked for nothing in return. He simply did what he believed was right. If his species has more like him, then peace is not just possible. It is inevitable. Jake felt something warm in his chest. It took him a moment to recognize the feeling. It was pride. Not the loud kind of pride he felt after winning battles. This was quieter, deeper. The pride of knowing that he had done something good. Something that mattered. Your father sounds like he was a great king, Jake said. He was, Vela said. Her voice broke a little. And they killed him for it. Tell me about the assassins, Jake said. Who are they? They are led by my cousin Drex, Vela said. The name came out like poison. He wants the throne. But more than that, he wants war. He believes the Asheran people should rule the galaxy. He sees humans as competitors who must be destroyed. Why would your people follow him? Jake asked. Because they are afraid, Vela said. Humans have grown powerful since the war. Your technology improves every year. Your population spreads to more worlds. Some of my people see this as a threat. Drex feeds that fear. He tells them that humans will eventually attack us. He says we must strike first. But that is not true, Jake said. I know, Vela said. You know. But fear does not listen to truth. Drex has proof that appears real. Documents that show human military plans to invade Asheran space. Videos of human leaders calling for war. All of it is fake, but it looks real. Someone is helping him, Jake said. Someone with resources and skill. Yes, Vela said. My father discovered this before he died. There is a conspiracy. It involves people in my government and people in yours. They want both our species at war. They will profit from the conflict. Jake understood now. This was bigger than one alien queen running from assassins. This was about preventing another war. A war that would kill millions. Maybe billions. Where do we need to go? Jake asked. My father hid evidence of the conspiracy, Vela said. Proof that cannot be faked or denied. It is in a vault on our homeworld. But reaching it will be difficult. Drex controls the military now. Going to Ashara Prime would be walking into a trap. Then we need help, Jake said. We need allies. I do not know who to trust, Vela said. The conspiracy reaches far. Any person could be working for them. Jake thought about this. Vela was right. They could not trust governments or military organizations. But there were other people. People who had no reason to want war. People who just wanted to live their lives in peace. I know someone, Jake said. An old friend from the war. He runs a trading post on Helena Station. It is in neutral space far from both our governments. If anyone can help us, it is him. Do you trust this friend? Vela asked. Jake thought about Pete Lawson. They had served together during the war. Pete had saved Jake's life twice. After the war, Pete disappeared into the frontier. Jake had not seen him in 10 years. but they had been close once. Brothers in everything but blood. Yes, Jake said. I trust him. Then we go to Helena Station, Vela said. Jake set the coordinates and the ship turned toward the edge of known space. It would take 3 days to reach Helena Station. 3 days to plan. 3 days before the real danger began. Vela fell asleep again. Jake stayed awake watching the stars. He thought about King Theron in that moment 23 years ago. He thought about how one choice could change so much. He thought about the war that was coming and whether 2 people could stop it. The ship flew on through the darkness. Behind them, the assassins were searching. Ahead of them, danger waited, but Jake did not feel afraid anymore. He felt something else, something he had not felt since the war. He felt purpose. Helena Station hung in space like a metal flower. It had been built 50 years ago as a mining outpost. Now it was home to 5,000 people who did not fit anywhere else. Smugglers, traders, refugees, and those who just wanted to be left alone. No government claimed it. No laws controlled it except one. You did not start trouble unless you wanted everyone else to end it for you. Jake brought the Wanderer into the docking bay slowly. He had not been here in 12 years. The station looked older now. More rust, more patches on the hull, but it was still standing, still free. Vela stood behind him watching through the window. Her wounds were healing. Jake had used the ship's basic medical supplies to help her. She could walk now without pain. But she still looked tired, the weight of everything pressed down on her shoulders. This is where your friend lives? Vela asked. If he is still alive, Jake said. They docked at Bay 17. Jake paid the docking fee with old currency that could not be traced. The station master did not ask questions. That was the way things worked here. You kept your mouth shut and your eyes on your own business. Jake and Vela walked through the station's main corridor. It smelled like oil and sweat and cooking food. People moved past them quickly. A few looked at Vela with surprise. Asherans were rare on Helena Station, but nobody stopped them or asked questions. This was a place where strange was normal. Pete's trading post was on the lower level. The sign above the door said Lawson's Goods in faded letters. Jake pushed the door open. A bell rang. Inside, the shop was crowded with boxes and equipment. Ship parts, weapons, food supplies, everything a trader might need. A man stood behind the counter. He was big and wide with a thick beard that was more gray than black. He wore old military pants and a shirt with grease stains. When he saw Jake, his eyes went wide. No way, Pete said. Jake Morrison? I thought you were dead. Not yet, Jake said. He smiled. It felt good to see an old friend. Pete came around the counter and grabbed Jake in a huge hug. He was strong enough to lift Jake off the ground. Then he saw Vela and stopped. His hand moved toward the gun on his belt. Easy, Jake said. She is with me. That's an Asheron, Pete said. His voice was hard now. What are you doing with an Asheron? It is a long story, Jake said. Can we talk somewhere private? Pete looked at them both for a long moment. Then he nodded. He locked the shop door and led them to a back room. It was small and filled with more boxes. Pete cleared some space and they all sat down. Jake told Pete everything. About the crashed ship. About Vela being a queen. About her father, King Theron, and the conspiracy to start a new war. Pete listened without interrupting. His face showed nothing. When Jake finished, Pete leaned back in his chair. That is the craziest thing I have ever heard, he said. It is true, Vela said. My father died trying to stop this war. Now I must finish what he started. Pete looked at her. Why should I believe you? The Asherans killed a lot of humans during the war. Friends of mine. Good people. I know, Vela said quietly. And humans killed many of my people. My own brother nearly died in that war. I do not expect you to forgive my species. I only ask you to help stop the next war, one that will kill many more on both sides. Pete was quiet for a long time. Then he sighed. What do you need? Information, Jake said. We need to know about Drex and his network. Who is helping him? Where are they moving weapons? Where is the conspiracy strongest? That kind of information is expensive, Pete said. And dangerous to get. I can pay, Vela said. She pulled out a small chip from her robes. This contains codes for Asharan royal accounts. There is enough money there to buy this entire station. Pete looked at the chip but did not take it. I do not want your money. But I do know someone who can help. She is a hacker. The best in the sector. If there is information to find, she can find it. Can we trust her? Jake asked. She hates aliens, Pete said, looking at Vela. Lost her whole family in the war. But she hates corruption more, and if there is really a conspiracy trying to start another war, she will want to stop it. Pete took them to meet Maya Rodriguez. She lived in a small apartment on the station's upper level. The door was covered with security locks. Pete knocked in a pattern. 3 times fast, 2 times slow, 1 time fast. The door opened a crack. A young woman looked out. She was small with dark hair and eyes that missed nothing. When she saw Vela, her face went cold. You brought an alien to my home? Maya said to Pete. Let us in and I will explain, Pete said. Maya looked like she wanted to slam the door, but she stepped back and let them enter. Her apartment was filled with computers and screens. Wires ran everywhere like vines. The screens showed data streaming past faster than Jake could read. Talk, Maya said. She did not offer them chairs. Pete told her what Jake had told him. Maya listened with her arms crossed. Her face showed nothing but anger. So you want me to help an alien? Maya said when Pete finished. An alien queen who probably ordered the deaths of my family? I did not, Vela said. I was a child when the war happened. I could not stop it any more than you could. But I can help stop the next one. Why should I believe that? Maya asked. Vela met her eyes. Because the people who killed your family also killed my father. Because they want more death, more profit, more power. Because if we do not stop them, both our species will suffer. Maya was quiet. Then she turned to her computers. Her fingers flew across the keyboards. Screens lit up with information. Names, dates, shipping records, military documents. I have been tracking weapons movements for years, Maya said, trying to find the smugglers who supplied the ships that killed my family. I never found them, but I found something else. Patterns. Large amounts of weapons moving to both human and Asharan extremist groups. Someone is arming both sides. She pulled up a file. It showed a company logo, a red circle with a lightning bolt through it. Titan Industries, Maya said. They make weapons and ships. They got rich during the war. Now their stocks are falling because peace is bad for business. So they want another war, Jake said. It looks that way, Maya said. She pulled up more files. But Titan is just the money. Someone else is doing the planning. Someone in your government, she said to Vela. And someone in the human government too. Can you prove it? Vela asked. Not yet, Maya said. The files are protected. I would need time to break through the security. Weeks, maybe months. We do not have that time, Vela said. Drex is moving fast. He could launch his fake attack any day now. Once the war starts, no proof will matter. Maya looked at her computer screens. Then she looked at Vela. Jake could see the struggle in her eyes. The hate and the pain fighting against reason and duty. I will help you, Maya said finally. Not because I forgive your people, but because I will not let those murderers start another war. Thank you, Vela said. Maya nodded. She turned back to her computers. If you want proof that will stop this war, you need to get to your father's vault. The evidence there will be real and undeniable, but reaching Ashara Prime will be impossible with just the 4 of us. Then we need more help, Jake said. I know someone else, Vela said. A warrior who served my father. His name is Krell. He is also on this station. He came here after my father died, believing he had failed in his duty. How do you know he is here? Pete asked. Because I told him to wait here, Vela said. I sent him a message before my ship was attacked. He should be at the fighting rings. The fighting rings were in the lowest level of Helena Station. This was where people settled arguments with fists instead of guns. The room was large and dark except for the bright lights over the ring in the center. About 100 people stood around watching 2 fighters beat each other bloody. One fighter was human. The other was Asharan. The human was big and strong. The Asharan was smaller but faster. They had been fighting for a while. Both were covered in blood and sweat. Vela walked through the crowd. People moved aside when they saw her royal robes. She stopped at the edge of the ring and watched. The human fighter threw a heavy punch. The Asharan dodged and hit back with 3 quick strikes. The human fell. The crowd cheered. Money changed hands. The Asharan fighter stood in the center of the ring and raised his arms. Then he saw Vela. His arms dropped. He climbed out of the ring and walked to her. He dropped to one knee. My queen, he said. I thought you were dead. Not yet, Vela said. She helped him stand. Krell, I need your help. These humans are my allies. We are going to stop the conspiracy and honor my father's memory. Krell looked at Jake, Pete, and Maya. His face was hard. He had scars across his chest and arms. This was a warrior who had seen many battles. If they are your allies, they are mine, Krell said. I swore an oath to serve your father. That oath extends to you. What do you need? We are going to Ashara Prime, Vela said. We are going to open my father's vault and reveal the conspiracy. It will be dangerous. Good, Krell said. He smiled. It was not a nice smile. I am tired of sitting here feeling useless. Let me fight again. They returned to Pete's shop to make plans. Jake spread a star map on the table. Ashara Prime was marked in blue. It was far away, deep in Asharan space. We will never get there, Maya said. Drax controls the military. Every ship, every station, every sensor will be looking for you. My ship has royal codes, Vela said. They can get us past most security. Until Drex cancels those codes, Maya said. Which he probably already did. They argued for an hour. Every plan had problems. They did not have enough weapons. They did not have enough people. They did not have enough time. Then alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed. Pete ran to his computer and checked the station's security feed. His face went pale. We have a problem, Pete said. Imperial Asheron warships just came out of jump space. 3 of them. They are surrounding the station. Jake looked at Vela. Drex found us. The station's communication system crackled to life. A voice spoke in both human and Asheron languages. Attention, Helena Station. We are searching for a criminal. Queen Vela is wanted for treason. Surrender her now and nobody will be hurt. Resist and we will destroy the station. The people in the corridor outside started shouting. Some ran toward their ships. Others grabbed weapons. Helena Station did not have a military. It could not fight 3 warships. We have to leave, Jake said. Now. They will destroy the station if we run, Vela said. They will destroy it anyway, Maya said. Drex does not care about these people. Krell pulled out his weapon. Then we fight. We make them pay for every life. Jake thought fast. They could not fight. They could not run. But maybe they could do both. Maya, Jake said. Can you access the station's defense systems? Yes, Maya said. But they are old and weak. They will not stop warships. They do not need to stop them, Jake said. Just slow them down. Buy us time to get away. Maya ran to her computers. Her fingers flew across the keys. Outside the station's old weapon systems came to life. Missiles launched toward the warships. The warships shot them down easily, but it made them focus on the station instead of looking for one small ship. Pete, Jake said. Get everyone to the ship. I will meet you there. Where are you going? Pete asked. To make sure nobody follows us, Jake said. Jake ran through the station toward the docking bay. Behind him, the station shook as the warships fired warning shots. People screamed and ran. Jake reached Bay 17 and started the Wanderer's engines. But he did not leave yet. He set a delay on the launch. 30 seconds. Then he ran back toward Pete's shop. He found them all there. Pete, Maya, Krell, and Vela. They looked at him like he was crazy. Run, Jake shouted. They ran together toward the docking bay. Behind them, an explosion rocked the station. Jake had set Pete's shop to explode. All the weapons and fuel stored there went up at once. It created chaos. Fire and smoke filled the corridors. The warship stopped shooting at the station to scan for what had exploded. They reached the Wanderer just as the 30-second delay ended. The ship launched automatically. Jake jumped through the closing door with the others. They tumbled into the cargo bay. The door sealed. The ship flew out of the station into open space. That was too close, Pete said. It is not over, Maya said. She pointed at the screens. The 3 warships were turning toward them. They are coming. Jake climbed into the pilot's seat. His hands moved over the controls. The Wanderer was fast but not fast enough to outrun military ships. Hold on, Jake said. He flew straight toward the nearest warship. Energy beams lit up around them. Jake dodged left and right. The old ship shook but stayed together. At the last second, he flew under the warship and used its own mass to block the other ship's shots. He is insane, Krell said. But he was smiling. Jake flew through the gap between 2 warships and headed for open space. Behind them, the warships turned to follow. But Jake had bought them a few minutes of lead time. Maya, Jake said.
Can you fake our transponder signal?
Make them think we went a different direction. I can try, Maya said. She worked on her portable computer. Done. They should think we jumped to Sector 9. Good, Jake said. Because we are going to Sector 12. The Wanderer jumped into hyperspace. The stars stretched into lines. Helena's station disappeared behind them. They were safe for now. But the real journey was just beginning. In the cargo bay, the team gathered. 5 people from 2 different species who barely knew each other. But they shared one thing. They all wanted to stop the war. Krell was the first to speak. "My queen," he said to Vela, "what are our orders?" Vela looked at each of them. At Jake, who had saved her father years ago. At Pete, who had put aside his hate to help. At Maya, who had lost everything but still chose to fight. At Krell, who remained loyal even when all seemed lost. "We go to Ashara Prime," Vela said. "We open the vault. We expose the conspiracy, and we stop this war before it starts." "Then let us go," Krell said. "For King Theron, for peace, for both our peoples," they all nodded. The ship flew on through hyperspace toward danger and truth. Behind them, Drex's ships were searching. Ahead of them, a whole planet waited. But they were not alone anymore. They were a team, and that made all the difference. The Wanderer dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Asheron system. Ashara Prime hung in the distance like a purple jewel. It was beautiful. 3 moons circled the planet. Cities covered the surface, their lights visible even from space. This was the heart of the Asheron Commonwealth. This was home to billions of aliens, and somewhere down there was the truth that could stop a war. Jake looked at the planet and felt his stomach tighten. Every instinct told him to turn around and run. This was enemy territory. He had fought against these people during the war. He had killed their soldiers, and now he was flying straight into their capital. "Incredible," Pete said. He stood behind Jake, looking at the planet. "I never thought I would see it." "It is beautiful," Maya said quietly. She sounded surprised, like she had expected it to be ugly. Vela stood between them. She looked at her homeworld with sad eyes. "I was born there," she said, "in the palace that sits above the crystal lake. I have not been home in 2 years. I was away when my father died. I did not get to say goodbye." Krell put his hand on her shoulder. "He knew you loved him, my queen. That is what matters." "Contact," Maya said suddenly. She was watching the sensor screen. 3 ships approaching. "They are scanning us." "Here we go," Jake said. He opened the communication channel. "This is civilian vessel Wanderer requesting permission to approach Ashara Prime." A voice answered in Asharan. Jake's computer translated it into English. "Identify yourself. What is your business here?" Vela stepped forward and spoke into the microphone. She said something in her own language. Her voice was strong and commanding. This was not the wounded alien Jake had found in the desert. This was a queen talking to her subjects. The communication went silent. Jake counted the seconds. 10, 20, 30. Then the voice came back. It sounded confused. "Queen Vela? You are reported dead. How is this possible?" "I will explain when I reach the palace," Vela said. "Allow us to pass." "I cannot do that without authorization from Commander Drex," the voice said. "I am your queen," Vela said. Her voice went cold. "You will obey me or face charges of treason." "Let us pass now." Another long silence. Then the voice said, "Proceed to landing bay 7. A security escort will meet you there." The 3 ships moved aside. Jake flew past them toward the planet. His hands were sweating on the controls. That had been too easy. "It is a trap," Krell said. "Drex knows we are here. He is letting us land so he can capture us." "Probably," Vela said. "But we have no choice. The vault is in the palace. We must go there." Jake guided the ship through the atmosphere. Ashara Prime grew larger. He could see the cities now. Buildings that looked like they were made of crystal and metal mixed together. Gardens that covered entire sections of land. Rivers that glowed with bioluminescent life. It was unlike anything Jake had ever seen. The palace was in the center of the capital city. It rose up like a mountain made of white stone and blue crystal. Towers reached toward the sky. Gardens covered the lower levels. A lake surrounded it. The water so clear Jake could see fish swimming below the surface. Landing Bay 7 was at the base of the palace. Jake brought the ship down slowly. He could see soldiers waiting. Dozens of them. They wore black armor and carried weapons. This was definitely a trap. "Everyone ready?" Jake asked. Pete checked his gun. Maya had her computer. Krell held 2 curved blades. Vela straightened her robes and raised her chin. Ready, they all said. The ship touched down. Jake opened the cargo door. Heat and strange smells rushed in. The air tasted different here, heavier. Jake walked down the ramp first. Pete and the others followed. The soldiers surrounded them immediately. A tall Asheran stepped forward. He wore a commander's uniform with medals on his chest. His face was hard and his eyes were cold. This was someone who had killed many times and felt nothing. Queen Vela, the commander said. He did not bow. You are under arrest for treason. On whose authority? Vela demanded. On the authority of Commander Drex, acting head of the Asharan military and regent of the throne, the commander said. Drex has no legal claim to the throne, Vela said. I am the rightful queen. Stand down. I have my orders, the commander said. He gestured to his soldiers. Take them. The soldiers moved forward. Jake's hand went to his weapon. But before anyone could shoot, a voice called out, Stop. Everyone turned. Another Asharan was walking toward them. He was younger than Vela, maybe 20 years old in human terms. He wore royal robes like hers, but in silver instead of gold. He moved with authority. Soldiers stepped aside to let him pass. Prince Torin, Vela said. She sounded surprised and happy. Brother? Torin stopped in front of her. His face showed no emotion. Sister, he said. You should not have come back. I had to, Vela said. Our father was murdered. There is a conspiracy to start a new war. I have proof. You have lies, Torin said. His voice was cold. Father died of illness. The doctors confirmed it. And now you come here with humans. He said the word like it tasted bad. You bring our enemies into our home. These humans are not our enemies, Vela said. They are my allies. They are trying to help. Help? Torin laughed. It was a bitter sound. The humans killed millions of our people during the war. They destroyed our colonies. They murdered our children. And you call them allies? That war was started by people like Drex, Vela said. People who wanted power and profit, not by ordinary humans or ordinary Asharans. We were all victims. No, Torin said. We were the victims. They were the attackers. And now Drex is doing what Father should have done. He is preparing our defenses. When the humans attack again, we will be ready. The humans are not going to attack, Vela said. That is what Drex wants you to believe. It is a lie. Show me your proof then, Torin said. If you have evidence, show it to me now. It is in Father's vault, Vela said. Below the throne room. Let me access it and I will show you everything. Torin studied her face. Jake could see the struggle in the young prince's eyes. He wanted to believe his sister, but he had been taught to hate humans. Drex had poisoned his mind. Fine, Torin said finally. You can access the vault, but your human friends stay here under guard. If this is a trick, they die first. No, Vela said. They come with me. I trust them with my life. Then you are a fool, Torin said, but he waved his hand. Commander, let them pass, but keep your weapons on them. If they try anything, kill them all. The soldiers formed a circle around Jake and the others. They marched into the palace. Jake looked around as they walked. The walls were covered with art and history. Pictures showed Asharan heroes from the past. Battles they had won. Scientists and artists and leaders. This was a civilization with thousands of years of history. And Jake was walking through it as a prisoner. They took an elevator down. It went deep below the palace into the rock below the city. The doors opened into a corridor of smooth stone. At the end was a large door covered with symbols. A vault. Vela walked to the door. She placed her hand on a panel. The symbols glowed. The door made sounds as locks opened inside. Then it swung wide. Beyond was a room filled with books and files and artifacts. King Theron's private collection. Father kept everything here, Vela said. She walked into the room. The others followed. His journals, his research, his evidence. She went to a shelf and pulled out a box. Inside were data chips and documents. She handed them to Maya. Can you access these? Maya pulled out her portable computer and connected the chips. Her eyes went wide as she read. This is incredible, she said. Theron documented everything. Meetings with Drex, money transfers, weapons shipments. He even recorded conversations. She looked up at Vela. This proves the conspiracy. All of it. Let me see, Torin said. He took the computer from Maya. He read the files. His face went from angry to confused to horrified. No, he whispered. This cannot be real. It is real, Vela said gently. Drex killed our father because he found out about the plan. Drex wants to be king, but more than that, he wants war. He has been working with human extremists and weapons dealers. They are going to fake an attack. Make it look like humans are invading. Then our people will demand revenge. War will start again. Torin looked at his sister. Jake saw tears in the young prince's eyes. I believed him, Torin said. I trusted Drex. He said father was weak. He said father betrayed our people by making peace with humans, and I believed him. You were grieving, Vela said. Drex used that against you, but now you know the truth. Will you help us stop him? Torin looked at the computer. Then he looked at Jake and the others. You really want to stop this war? He asked. Yes, Jake said. I fought in the last war. I saw what it did to both our peoples. I do not want to see that again. My family died in that war, Maya said. I have hated Asherans my whole life, but I hate the people who killed them more. If this evidence can stop Drex, then I will help. I served your father, Krell said to Torin. He was a great king who wanted peace. I will honor his memory by protecting his daughter and stopping this conspiracy. Torin was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded. What do we need to do? We need to broadcast this evidence, Maya said. Send it to every news network, every government office, every military base. Both human and Asheran. Once everyone sees the truth, Drex's support will collapse. I can authorize a broadcast from the palace, Torin said. But Drex controls the military communication systems. He will try to block it. Then we need to get to the broadcast center, Maya said. And we need to do it fast. If Drex knows we are here, he will come soon. As if her words had summoned him, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed in the vault. The commander who had arrested them came running into the room. Prince Torin, he said. Commander Drex is here. He is demanding to see Queen Vela. He has 3 battalions with him. How long until he reaches us? Torin asked. Minutes, the commander said. Maybe less. Can you hold him? Torin asked. The commander looked uncomfortable. My soldiers are loyal to the crown, but many are also loyal to Drex. If I order them to fight him, some will refuse. We could have a civil war inside this palace. Then we run, Jake said. Where is the broadcast center? Top of the North Tower, Torin said. But there is no way to reach it without going through the main palace. Drex will have blocked all the corridors. What about outside? Pete asked. Can we climb? The tower is 200 meters high, Torin said. With no handholds and guards at every level. It is impossible. Nothing is impossible, Jake said. He thought fast. Your father's vault? Does it have another exit? Yes, Vela said. A secret passage. Father showed it to me when I was young. It leads to the gardens. Show us, Jake said. Vela ran to the back of the vault. She pushed on a section of wall. It slid open, revealing a dark tunnel. This way. They ran into the tunnel. Jake went first with his weapon ready. Pete came next, then Maya, Krell, Vela, and Torin. The commander stayed behind to slow Drex's forces. The tunnel was narrow and dark. They ran for what felt like forever. Jake's legs burned. His lungs ached. Behind them, he heard explosions. Drex had reached the vault. The tunnel ended at a small door. Jake pushed it open. Sunlight and fresh air rushed in. They were in the palace gardens. Flowers and trees surrounded them, but they could see the North Tower in the distance. It rose up high above everything else. There, Torin said. He pointed at the tower. That is where we need to go. An explosion rocked the palace. Part of the wall collapsed. Soldiers poured out of the building. They wore black armor, Drex's personal guard. They found us, Krell said. He raised his blades. We need to split up, Jake said.
Some of us create a distraction.
The others get to the tower. I will go to the tower, Maya said. I am the only one who can work the broadcast equipment. I will go with her, Vela said. My royal codes can bypass the security. Then we will be the distraction, Pete said. He looked at Jake and Krell. Ready to make some noise? Always, Jake said. Torin stepped forward. I am coming with you, he said. My people need to see that I stand against Drex. They need to know their prince chooses peace. Jake nodded. Then let us give them a show they will never forget. Vela grabbed at Jake's hand. Thank you, she said. For everything. My father was right about you. We are not done yet, Jake said. Get to that tower. Broadcast the truth. We will buy you time. Vela nodded. She and Maya ran toward the north tower. Jake watched them go. Then he turned to face the soldiers. There were at least 50 of them. They were armed and armored. Jake had his pistol, a few grenades, and 3 allies. Well, Pete said, I have had worse odds. When? Jake asked. I am trying to remember, Pete said. He smiled. The soldiers opened fire. Jake and the others dove behind a garden wall. Energy beams hit the stone, sending pieces flying. Krell, Jake shouted. Can you reach their left flank? Yes, Krell said. He ran along the wall, moving fast despite his size. Torin, Jake said. Can you talk to them? Tell them to stand down? I can try, Torin said. He stood up and shouted in a Sharan. His voice carried across the garden. The soldiers stopped shooting for a moment. Jake used that moment. He threw a grenade toward the soldiers' position. It exploded in a flash of light and sound. Not deadly, but enough to confuse them. Pete fired his weapon, forcing them to take cover. Krell reached the left flank. He was a warrior, fast and strong. His blades flashed in the sunlight. He fought with skill and purpose. Soldiers fell around him, but more kept coming. They poured out of the palace like ants from a hill. Jake counted 100 now, then 200. This was not just Drex's guard. This was the palace military. We cannot hold them, Pete said. Blood ran down his arm where a beam had grazed him. We do not need to hold them, Jake said. We just need to slow them down. Give Maya and Vela time. He looked at the north tower. He could see 2 figures climbing the outside. Maya and Vela were almost there. They just needed a few more minutes. A voice boomed across the garden. It came from speakers hidden in the walls. Humans, the voice said. This is Commander Drex. Surrender now and I will let you leave this planet alive. Continue fighting and you will all die. Jake looked at Pete and Krell and Torin. They all looked back at him. What do you say? Pete asked. Jake smiled. I say we keep fighting. He stood up and fired at the soldiers. Pete joined him. Krell roared and charged forward. Torin stood beside them, showing his people that he would not bow to Drex. The battle raged on. The garden became a war zone. But Jake did not care. He watched the North Tower. He watched 2 brave women climbing toward the truth. And he smiled. Because he knew they were going to make it. And once they did, everything would change. Maya's hands slipped on the smooth crystal wall. She was 200 meters above the ground now. One wrong move and she would fall. Below her, she could hear the battle in the garden. Explosions, shouting, energy weapons firing. Her friends were down there fighting, dying maybe. All to give her time. Keep climbing, Vela said. The alien queen was above her, moving with confidence. We are almost there. Maya looked up. The top of the tower was just 10 meters away. She could see the broadcast center through the windows. Computers and equipment that could send a message to every corner of both civilizations. If she could just reach it. Her arms burned. Her legs shook. But she kept climbing. One hand up, then the other. One foot, then the other. She did not look down. She did not think about falling. She just climbed. Finally, her hand reached the edge of the window. Vela helped pull her up. They tumbled through into the broadcast center. Maya lay on the floor for a moment, breathing hard. Then she forced herself to stand. The broadcast center was empty. Everyone had run when the fighting started. Good. That meant no one would try to stop them. Maya ran to the main console. She pulled out the data chips from King Theron's vault and connected them to the system. Her fingers flew over the controls. Years of hacking experience made this easy. Bypass security. Open all channels. Route to every satellite. How long? Vela asked. 2 minutes, Maya said. I need to encode the files so they cannot be blocked or deleted. Once it is sent, everyone will have it. Human governments, Asheran governments, news networks, private citizens, everyone. Drex will try to stop us, Vela said. She looked out the window at the battle below. Maya kept working. 1 minute. She could see the files uploading. King Theron's journals. The evidence of conspiracy. Recordings of Drex planning with human extremists. Financial records showing weapons deals. Everything that proved the truth. 30 seconds. The door to the broadcast center exploded inward. Drek stood there with soldiers behind him. He was tall for an Asheron with scars on his face and murder in his eyes. He carried a weapon that looked powerful enough to destroy the entire tower. "Stop," Drek said. His voice was cold. "Step away from the console." "No," Maya said. She kept typing. Drex aimed his weapon at her. "I will kill you, human." "Then kill me," Maya said. She did not stop working. "But you will be too late." 10 seconds. Drex's finger tightened on the trigger. Vela stepped between him and Maya. "You will have to kill me first, cousin," she said. "I plan to anyway," Drex said. "You are weak, just like your father. He wanted peace with humans. He made our people soft. But I will make them strong again. I will give them the war they need." "They do not need war," Vela said. "They need truth." The console beeped. Maya smiled. "Upload complete," she said. "It is done." Drex's face twisted with rage. He pulled the trigger. The weapon fired, but the shot did not hit Vela or Maya. Prince Torin had climbed through the window behind them. He threw himself in front of the blast. The energy beam hit him in the chest. He fell. "Brother!" Vela screamed. She caught him as he fell. Drex stared at the prince in shock. For a moment, his weapon lowered. That moment was all Maya needed. She grabbed a metal rod from the console and threw it. It was not heavy enough to hurt Drex, but it hit him in the face. He stumbled back. Jake burst through the door behind Drex. His clothes were torn and burned. Blood covered his face. But he was alive and he was angry. He tackled Drex from behind. They fell together, rolling across the floor. Pete and Krell came through the door next. They looked as bad as Jake, but they were still fighting. The soldiers behind Drex moved forward. Krell met them with his blades. Pete fired his weapon. Jake and Drex fought hand to hand. Drex was stronger. His alien muscles were built differently. He threw Jake across the room. Jake hit the wall hard. Pain exploded in his back. Drex stood over him with his weapon raised. "You should have stayed hidden, human," Drex said. "You should have let our people destroy each other. Then humans could have claimed the galaxy unopposed. But you chose to help her. Now you die for nothing." "Not for nothing," Jake said. He smiled through the blood. "Look at the screens," Drex turned. Every monitor in the broadcast center showed the same thing. King Theron's evidence playing on every channel. The truth spreading like fire across both civilizations. "No," Drex whispered. Outside, the fighting in the garden had stopped. Soldiers were looking at their communication devices, reading the messages, seeing the proof, understanding what Drex had done. One by one, the soldiers lowered their weapons. Some dropped them entirely. They looked at Drex with horror and shame. They had been used, manipulated, turned into tools for a madman's ambition. "Commander Drex," one soldier said. His voice shook. "Is this true? Did you kill King Theron?" Drex said nothing. His weapon was still pointed at Jake. "Answer them," Vela said. She was kneeling beside Torin. Her brother's breathing was shallow, but he was alive. "Tell them the truth for once in your miserable life." Drex looked around the room. At the soldiers who had followed him. At Vela and the humans who had ruined his plans. At the screens showing his crimes to the entire galaxy. There was no escape now. No way to win. His conspiracy was exposed. His support was gone. Everything he had worked for was destroyed. "I did it for our people," Drex said. His voice was quiet now, almost sad. "Humans are dangerous. They grow too fast, spread too wide. In another 100 years, they would have threatened us all. I wanted to stop them while we still could." "By starting a war that would kill billions?" Vela said. "By murdering my father? By betraying everything our civilization stands for?" "Your father was a fool," Drex said. "He believed in peace. But peace makes us weak. Only through struggle do we grow strong." "No," Jake said. He stood up slowly. His body hurt, but he stayed on his feet. "Strength comes from working together, from building instead of destroying. Your way leads only to death." Drex laughed. It was a broken sound. Perhaps you are right, human, but it is too late for me. He raised his weapon. For a moment, Jake thought Drex was going to shoot him, but instead, Drex turned the weapon on himself. Vela shouted. Krell moved to stop him, but Drex was too fast. He fired. The blast consumed him. When the light faded, Drex was gone. The room was silent. Then the communication systems came alive. Messages poured in from across the planet, from space, from human worlds. People were reading the evidence, understanding the truth, demanding justice. What happens now? Pete asked. Now we heal, Vela said. She stood up. Torin was unconscious but stable. Drex is dead. The conspiracy is exposed, but the damage he caused will take years to repair. Trust must be rebuilt. Peace must be proven again. We will help, Jake said. However we can. Vela looked at him. In her black eyes, Jake saw gratitude and respect. My father believed in you, she said. He wrote that one human showed him what was possible. Now you have shown my people the same thing. You came to our world. You risked your life. You fought beside my brother to stop a war that will not be forgotten. The next days passed in a blur. Torin recovered from his wounds. He stood beside his sister as she formally took the throne. The Asharan government arrested dozens of conspirators. On Earth, human authorities did the same. Titan Industries collapsed. Its leaders faced trial. Jake and the others became famous. Reporters wanted interviews. Governments wanted to give them medals. But Jake did not want any of it. He just wanted to go home. Vela understood. She gave them a new ship, faster and better than the Wanderer. She gave them enough money to live comfortably. But more than that, she gave them her friendship. You will always have a place here, Vela told Jake before he left. You and your friends. My world is your world. Thank you, Jake said. But I think I have had enough excitement. I just want to fix ships and drink coffee and forget about wars. You cannot forget, Vela said. What you did matters. What my father did matters. The choices we make ripple outward in ways we cannot imagine. You saved him 23 years ago. He spent his life working for peace because of you. And now you have saved both our peoples. That is a legacy worth remembering. Jake thought about that. About King Theron and one small moment of kindness. About how it had led to all of this. It was strange to think his choice had mattered so much. Your father was a good person, Jake said. I am glad I helped him. And he was glad you did, Vela said. She handed Jake something. It was King Theron's journal. Keep this. Read it when you need to remember why we fight for peace. Jake took the journal carefully. It was precious, a piece of history. A reminder of what one person could do. Pete decided to stay on Ashara Prime. He became the first human ambassador to the Asharan Commonwealth. Someone has to make sure these two civilizations do not screw up again, he said. Might as well be me. Maya stayed too. She worked with Asharan computer experts to build better communication systems that could not be hacked or corrupted. She still missed her family. The pain never went away, but she found purpose in making sure no one else lost their families to pointless wars. Krell returned to service, but not as a warrior. He became a teacher, training young Asharans in the art of protection and defense. He taught them that true strength came not from violence, but from knowing when to fight and when to make peace. Torin surprised everyone. He started a program where young humans and young Asharans studied together, learning each other's languages and cultures, building friendships that would last a lifetime. My sister showed me the way, he said. Now I must walk it. Jake went back to Earth. He reopened his repair shop on the edge of New Seattle. But it was different now. Asharan ships came for repairs alongside human ones. People from both species worked together in his shop. They learned from each other. They laughed together. They became friends. 10 years passed. The memories of war faded slowly. Trust grew. Trade increased. Human and Asharan colonies were established near each other, not separate anymore, together. Jake grew older. His hair turned gray. His hands were not as steady as they once were, but he was happy. He spent his days teaching young mechanics, both human and Asheran. He showed them how to fix engines and patch hulls and keep ships flying. One day a transport ship landed at his shop. Vela emerged. She looked older too. The weight of ruling had marked her face. But she smiled when she saw Jake. "Hello, old friend," she said. "Your Majesty," Jake said. He tried to bow, but she stopped him. "Just Vela," she said. "When I am with you, I am just Vela." They walked through the shop together. Jake showed her the changes, the new equipment, the mixed crews, the children learning side by side. "My father would have loved to see this," Vela said. "I think he did," Jake said. He pulled out King Theron's journal. He had read it many times over the years. The words never got old. He wrote about what was possible, about a future where our people worked together. He saw it in his mind. "Now we live it. Because of you," Vela said. "No," Jake said. "Because of him. Because of you. Because of Pete and Maya and Krell and Torin. Because of millions of ordinary people who chose peace over hate. I just did one small thing a long time ago. Small things matter," Vela said. They ripple outward. They change the world." They sat together in Jake's office. They drank coffee, which Vela had learned to tolerate. They talked about old times and new dreams. They watched through the window as a young human girl and a young Asheran boy worked together to repair a damaged engine. The children laughed as they worked. They did not see differences. They just saw friends. "Do you ever regret it?" Vela asked. "Helping my father? Your life would have been simpler if you had not." Jake thought about that. His life had been simple before Vela crashed near his shop. Quiet, safe, boring. Now it was complicated and sometimes dangerous. But it was also full of meaning. "No," Jake said. "I do not regret it." "Not for a second," Vela smiled. "Good, because I have a favor to ask." "What kind of favor?" Jake asked carefully. "The Asheran Commonwealth and the Human Federation are planning a joint colony," Vela said. "A world where both our species will live and work together from the start. We need someone to oversee the construction facilities, someone both sides trust, someone who understands both cultures." "And you think that is me?" Jake asked. "I know it is you," Vela said. Jake looked at the journal in his hands. He thought about King Theron's words, about how one person could change so much, about legacies and choices and the future they were building. "When do we start?" Jake asked. Vela's smile grew wider. "Tomorrow." The joint colony was named Theron's Hope. It took 5 years to build. Jake oversaw every step. He made sure human and Asheran workers collaborated on every project. He settled disputes and solved problems and kept everything moving forward. The colony thrived. Families from both species moved there. Children grew up speaking both languages. They celebrated both cultures. They built something new, something that belonged to everyone. Jake retired for real at 65. He built a small house on Theron's Hope near the central plaza. He spent his days watching the colony grow, watching children play together without prejudice, watching the future become real. On the anniversary of King Theron's death, they built a monument in the plaza. It showed the king standing beside a human. The human's face was not detailed. It could have been anyone. That was intentional. "My father's legacy is not just one person," Vela said at the dedication ceremony. "It is every person who chooses compassion over cruelty, who chooses understanding over ignorance, who chooses peace over war. His legacy is all of us." The crowd cheered. Thousands of humans and Asherans together, united in purpose and hope. Jake stood at the back of the crowd. He did not need to be at the front. He was happy just to watch, happy to see what his small choice had created. That night he sat on his porch and opened King Theron's journal one more time. He read the passage he had memorized long ago. "Today I met a human who showed me that we are not so different. He chose compassion when violence would have been easier. If his species has more like him, then peace is not just possible, it is inevitable." Jake closed the journal and looked at the stars. Somewhere up there, King Theron's spirit was watching, proud of his daughter, proud of what they had built. "We did it," Jake whispered to the sky. "We made your dream real." The stars seemed to shine a little brighter, and in his heart Jake felt at peace. Years later, when Jake passed away quietly in his sleep, both civilizations mourned. They declared a day of remembrance. They told his story to their children. They made sure his legacy lived on. But the greatest tribute was the world he helped build. Theron's hope continued to grow. More colonies followed its example. More children grew up knowing both cultures. More families blended human and Asheron together. 200 years later, the distinction between human and Asheron faded. They were just people, citizens of a shared galaxy, working together, building together, dreaming together. And it all started with one small act of kindness. One human soldier who chose to help an alien scientist. One moment that changed everything. Because that is what heroes do. They make choices that ripple outward. They build bridges instead of walls. They see what could be and work to make it real. Jake Morrison was a hero, not because he fought in battles or won wars, but because he showed mercy when it was not expected, because he believed in peace when others believed in war, because he proved that one person can make a difference. And in the end, that difference saved 2 worlds. The story spread through the galaxy. Other species heard about the human and the alien king, about the conspiracy that was stopped, about the peace that was built. They learned from it. They chose their own paths toward cooperation instead of conflict. The galaxy became a better place. Not perfect. There were still problems and struggles, but there was hope now. Real, tangible hope that different species could work together, that peace was possible, all because one man made one choice. And that choice echoed through time forever. The end.